case are we starting on?
I think we're ready on Ms. Schneider.
A pretrial and a P53?
That's correct.
All right, so we're on the record in docket 22-01220. People of the state of Michigan versus Mary Lou Remenschneider. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Ms. Wilson.
Abigail Wilson for the people.
Mr. Feigelson.
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning, Assistant Public Defender Stephen Feigelson on behalf of Mary Lou Remenschneider, who's present by way of Zoom, Your Honor, this morning.
And ma'am, you are Mary Lou Remenschneider, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, you can hear me all right, Ms. Remenschneider?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. This is the time set for a pretrial and a PA-53 contempt hearing. Ms. Wilson, how are we proceeding today?
Thank you, Your Honor. I believe we're going to leave this set for a final pretrial and corresponding jury trial, and the P53, I believe, will follow to the final pretrial.
All right. So it's set for final pretrial on April 8th at 8:30. And we'll set corresponding jury trial for
April 22nd.
April 22nd at 8 o'clock. So Ms. Remenschneider, please keep in contact with your attorney, Mr. Feigelson. Your final pretrial has been set for April 8th at 8:30, and a jury trial corresponding jury trial has been set for April 22nd at 8 o'clock. Anything else for the record in 22-01220, Ms. Wilson?
Briefly, Your Honor, if Your Honor would recall at the last hearing, Ms. Schneider was told again that she needed to be here in person today. I did receive a positive COVID test from Mr. Feigelson this morning from March 18th. It's my understanding that the CDC requires quarantining for like 5 days after positive COVID test. So I don't believe Ms. Schneider is currently contagious. However, I would leave what you want to do with that to your discretion.
Mr. Feigelson.
Well, that is partially, Your Honor. I do believe there is a 5-day window, but they also, I believe it says if the person's still exhibiting symptoms of her illness, that I would believe the quarantine would still suffice. And it sounds like she's still coughing and has some illness, Your Honor. I do want to make Ms. Remenschneider aware we have court on April 4th in front of Judge Jamo, where I believe she will need to be there in person at 2 p.m.
All right, Ms. Remenschneider, you understand that you have to be in front of Judge Jamo live on April 4th. You understand that, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll revisit the no contact order in regards to any further documentation on that April 8th date, the final pretrial date. Ma'am, that April 8th date is live.
Yes,
That'll be a
sir.
live final pretrial in person. Zoom is inappropriate for that date.
Yes, sir.
So you should be here live and on time. It's set for 8:30. You should probably be here at 8:15.
Yes, sir.
You've developed somewhat of a history for coming late.
Yes, sir. I will be there at 8:15.
All right. Anything else for the record in 22-01220? Ms. Wilson.
Not for the people.
Mr. Feigelson.
Just one thing, Your Honor. I think you mentioned a no contact order. I thought the show cause was for not checking your pretrial services.
It may be.
I think it's a tether cut.
Is it a tether? Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a tether violation, and I will set it for the same time as the final pretrial.
Very well, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. You're all set, Ms. Remenschneider. We'll see you
Thank
on
you.
April 8th.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Mr. Feigelson. Ms. Wilson, who did you want to go on next?
I guess Mr. Basinga's client's the next one that would be ready.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Lynn Scott.
Yes.
All right, so we're on the record in docket 24-00535. That's people of the state of Michigan versus Glenn Scott. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Ms. Wilson.
Abigail Wilson for the people.
Mr. Basinga.
Good morning, Brendan Basiga with on behalf of Mr. Glenn Scott. We are appearing, he is seated to my right. We are here in my office.
See if we can turn that up. Or, because we did turn it down. I want to make sure we can hear you okay.
Okay.
All right, so Mr. Basinga, your appearance for the record again?
Thank you, Your Honor. Is this better?
It is better, yes.
Okay, sounds good.
We had turned it down because we had a piece of evidence that was a little louder, but that you sound much better now.
Well, Mr. Palmer doesn't, Rob Palmer doesn't usually give me a hard time about not being able to hear me. In any event, Your Honor, Brendan Basiga with on behalf of Mr. Glenn Scott. We are appearing by Zoom. He is seated to my right. We are here in my office.
All right, thank you. And sir, you are Glenn Scott, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And you can hear me all right, Mr. Scott?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. This is the time set for a pretrial in the matter. Ms. Wilson, how are we proceeding?
Thank you, Your Honor. I believe this is going to be a final pretrial and corresponding jury trial.
Right. So we'll set for final, is that a correct statement, Mr. Basinga?
It is, Your Honor. My request, though, I've heard the other pretrial or final pretrial conference date of April 8th. Unfortunately, I'm going to be in a CSC trial in front of Judge Kennedy on April 8th. So I'm wondering if we could adjourn to the next final pretrial conference date.
All right, so let's look at April, it would be April 15th at 8:30. So we'll set it for April 15th at 8:30. And corresponding jury trial on April 22nd at 8 o'clock. So Mr. Scott, please keep in contact with your attorney, Mr. Basinga. Your final pretrial set for April 15th at 8:30. That'll be live in person on the 6th floor of City Hall, unless I hear differently from the parties. And then we'll set for jury trial on April 27th at 8 a.m. Anything else for the record in 2400535? Ms. Wilson.
Happen to people, Your Honor.
Mr. Basinga.
Nothing for me. Thank you very much, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Basinga. It's good to see you once again. That's all for the record in that file.
Always good to see you. We'll see you on the 15th. Thanks.
All right, thank you.
We can leave it open until sentencing. Okay.
And just give me a few minutes, I can get this police report together. I'll bring it over to you in a second.
Sounds good.
All right. First,
Mr. Henry represented.
So he has conflict counsel on a felony file. I don't think I've received anything on this file.
All right. Did you want to put that? Let's put that on the record. Yeah. Henry.
yeah, looks like you're supposed to get conflict counsel on this one too, for my notes, but I don't know if they've got their. I would think so, but I can't confirm. But it looks like in our system it was sent out.
Right, Mr. Henry, are you there in the post?
Yes.
All right. All right, so we're on the record in docket 2400066. That's People of the State of Michigan versus Willie Henry. Ms. Wilson, your appearance for the record.
Abigail Wilson for the people.
And sir, you are Willie C. Henry, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and you can hear me all right, Mr. Henry?
Yes.
All right, this is the time set for a pretrial in the matter. It's my understanding Mr. Henry is represented on another file by the Public Defender's Office. We have not received an appearance on this file. Ms. Wilson, how did you want to proceed?
Thank you, Your Honor. Just for clarification, I believe he's represented through conflict counsel.
Conflict counsel.
Public Defender's Office. So this is the second pretrial. The last pretrial, we weren't aware that Mr. Henry was incarcerated, so we set it for another pretrial. I guess I would leave it to the court's discretion on whether they want to do another pretrial or set it for a final pretrial. I'm not sure if Mr. Henry's getting counsel on this matter or not.
Mr. Henry, do you intend to get to have the public defender represent you in this file?
Yes, I'm making a move.
I believe that was a yes, yeah. And have you spoken to the public defender's office on your other file concerning that you want representation on this file?
Yes, thank you.
All right. And I think, so I think the public defender's aware of this file. And so this is just a part of the process. So Ms. Schroeder,
If I may,
and Ms. Schroeder is from the public defender's
yes,
office.
I'm just, sorry, Your Honor, sorry for interrupting. I just wanted to make the court aware, yes, we are aware of this file for the dog ticket, whatever this says. Thank you. And it does appear that we were in the process of getting conflict counsel. I'm following up right now.
All right. So why don't we set this for another pretrial?
That works.
So just so that we make sure that we get Mr. Henry the representation. It's really just a process thing. So we'll adjourn for another pretrial in order to ensure representation by the public defender's office, and that would be conflict counsel. Who is Mr. Henry? Who is your counsel on your other file?
I don't have them.
Okay, so they're still waiting on conflict counsel.
Let me double check, Your Honor. I thought that he had already been appointed, so. No, it looks like we're still waiting.
All right.
Okay.
All right, so you're still awaiting conflict counsel to be appointed. They'll most likely be appointed on the felony file first, and then this file second. We'll adjourn to
April 8th.
April 8th at 9 o'clock. So we'll see you again on April 8th at 9 o'clock. You should get counsel on the felony file first, and then this file should come after that. All right, sir?
Yes.
All right. Anything else for the record? 240066, Ms. Wilson.
Not from the people.
All right, Mr. Henry, you're all set. We'll see you on that April 8th date.
So we need to go down to the eighth.
Yeah, this pretrial is set for the 8th. I don't know about the other file.
Okay.
All right, so we're on the record in docket 17017110. That is people of the state of Michigan versus Joshua Beavers Thomas. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Ms. Wilson.
Abigail Wilson for the people.
Ms. Sutter.
Good morning, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender Lauren Sutter appearing today on behalf of Mr. Beavers Thomas, who is joining us via Zoom.
And sir, you are Joshua Beavers Thomas, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, and you can hear me all right, Mr. Beavers Thomas?
Yes, I can.
All right, thank you. This is the time set for a final pretrial in the matter. Ms. Wilson, how are we proceeding?
Thank you, Your Honor. I believe that we're going to be requesting a dismissal without prejudice. I have not been able to track down any sort of discovery on the matter. If the people are able to find said discovery, we would reissue, but at this time we don't have it.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, so Mr. Beavers Thomas, the people have requested to dismiss this case without prejudice. What that means is the people could reissue if they choose to, but for our purpose today, the case is dismissed. All right, sir?
All right, thank you.
All right, I'm in possession of the motion to dismiss Nollycross once it's being signed by the prosecutor.
Bless you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Bless you.
And I will sign a dismissal without prejudice If per courtesy, if Miss Wilson, if you'll email Miss Sutter if it's a reissued.
Absolutely.
So Mr. Beavers Thomas, the case is dismissed without prejudice. If you get in contact with Miss Sutter, she will be in contact with you if the case is reissued. All right, sir?
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Anything else on 1701710, Miss Wilson?
After the people.
Miss Sutter?
Nothing further.
All right, Mr. Beavers Thomas, you're all set. Thank you for your appearance today.
All right, thank you. Have a good one.
You too.
And then I believe we're looking at Lindsay Ball.
All right, so we're on the record in docket 23-03-578. That is People of the State of Michigan versus Lindsay Ball. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Miss Wilson.
Abigail Wilson for the people.
Miss Sutter.
Good morning, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender Lauren Sutter on behalf of Ms. Ball, who's joining us via Zoom.
And ma'am, you are Lindsay Ball, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you can hear me all right, Miss Ball?
Absolutely.
All right, thank you. This is the time set for pretrial. Miss Wilson, how are we proceeding?
Thank you, Your Honor. I would defer to Ms. Sutter to explain what we get.
Miss Sutter.
Thank you, Your Honor. There has been an agreement reached between the parties, that being that Ms. Ball is to participate in 3 months of the diversion program with non-reporting probation, successful completion of which will result in a reduction down to a civil infraction. I believe we specifically decided breach of the peace. Ms. Ball, in the meantime, is while on diversion, to confirm that she no longer has any animals in possession, and any animals in her home belong to another entity, and she has no control or say over these animals.
So if successful through diversion, it's a civil infraction of breach of the peace. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And is that a full and fair statement, Ms. Wilson?
It is, Your Honor.
All
yes.
right. So it's diversion for 3 months. So did we want this set out for 3 months?
Yes.
Excuse me, Judge. Each of the precincts that will be. There's no statute that
There's no,
it's under the city code. I can't find the statute.
I believe we'd call it deferral then rather than diversion. That's if the discussion is that diversion is a city program.
well, no, it's the breach of peace is a civil infraction.
Oh, I see.
I think that comes under the city ordinance.
Gotcha.
Is there a civil infraction under the state that's similar?
Impeding traffic is
Impeding?
under the state.
Yes.
That's okay. So let's do it. So we'll do, just to keep it, you'll have to, it keeps you from having to contact the city attorney and getting her involved. And but I think impeding would be a similar. All right, so it would be my take to adjourn this for 3 months and then see what happens. And then if you're amenable, we'll just have you, we will have Ms. Ball admit to a civil infraction.
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. Ms. Ball, is that your understanding that after 3 months of diversion and anything requested upon diversion, we would be amending this to a civil infraction? The civil infraction would be impeding traffic, which would be the state statute version of the city ordinance of breach of the peace, which is also a civil infraction. Is that your understanding, Ms. Ball?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. We'll set this for pretrial under the deferral program for three months, so 90 days.
July 1st.
July 1st at 9 a.m. So Ms. Ball, we've reset this for July 1st at 9 a.m. to make sure that the deferral program is successful. Anything else on 23-03-578, Ms. Wilson?
Not from the people, Your Honor.
And then Ms. Does that still go to the Holly, Michigan address?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So you get notification of do you want to update that address, or is that still a good address?
That's the same address. I would like it to be confidential. And also, will I be able to hear Zoom just because I do live further out?
I think Zoom would be appropriate for the pretrial. And the address is updated and is a part of the court file, but there's no reason to put the address over to state the name of the address. I just want to make sure we have the right address for you, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, anything else, Miss Sutton, Miss Sutter?
Just, Your Honor, that we intend to provide the letter I described earlier in the next few days.
All right, all right. All right, anything else for the record? 23-03578. Are you all set, Ms. Ball?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. We're all set. Thank you for your appearance today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah, give it, I'm still trying to finish.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
All right, so we're on the record in docket 23-03156. That is People of the State of Michigan versus Marcy Guevara. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Ms. Wilson.
Abigail Wilson for the people.
Ms. Sutter.
Good morning, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender Lauren Sutter on behalf of Ms. Guevara, who's standing to my right.
And ma'am, you are Marcy Guevara, is that correct? Thank you. This is the time set for a final pretrial in the matter. Ms. Wilson, how are we proceeding?
Thank you, Your Honor. Just on Friday, I was able to get Ms. Sutter the confidential records that we had the release for. I believe Ms. Sutter needs some time to go over them with her client. So I believe we would be requesting possibly a 2-week adjournment.
All right. So let's have a 2-week adjournment of this final pretrial, and we'll hold the jury trial. We'll hold the corresponding until we see the nature of this.
Thank you.
So that's the 25th. I'm sorry. April 8th at 8:30. At 8:30, and I'll indicate that discovery was just provided. And I will note that I think I had to sign something.
Yes,
for that.
yep.
Yeah, so there's been some obstacle in the process. So we'll see you again for final pretrial after your counsel gets some time to review that paperwork on April 8th at 8:30. All right, ma'am? Anything else for the record in 23-03156? Ms. Wilson.
Not from the people.
Ms. Sutter.
Just one moment, Your Honor. And just a similar question, would it be possible for Ms. Guevara to appear over Zoom at that final pretrial?
I have no objection.
No objection.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah, so Zoom is appropriate for that final pretrial. All right, that's all for the record in 23-03156.
Thank you, Your Honor.
This page here, just self better than you want for Kimberly.
Do we have this individual in the bottom, in the all black identified? I just gave her the name on the screen.
That is that, sir, are you Michael Gavin?
Yes, I'm Michael Galvin.
Michael Galvin.
He said
Michael
yes, and I
Gavin.
didn't know he was in custody.
And the other one is, the other person is Dominga Nesson, is that correct?
Yes. Correct, Your Honor.
All right. So Ms. Nessman, I'm gonna go ahead, Ms. Nesson, I'm gonna place you in a breakout room with your public defender in just a second, all right, ma'am?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Mays, we'll call your case. You should unmute.
This is going to be a no contest plea, Your Honor. May I approach what?
You may.
Ms. Wilson and I have agreed to what I've highlighted.
All right, thank you. Also, all right, so we're on the record in docket 24-00422. That's people of the state of Michigan versus Ashley Mays. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Ms. Wilson.
Abigail Wilson for the people.
Ms. Schroeder.
Thank you, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender Aaron Schroeder on behalf of Ms. Mays. I appear in the courtroom. Ms. Mays appears by Zoom.
And ma'am, you are Ashley Mays, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you can hear me all right, Ms. Mays?
Yes.
All right, this is the time set for a final pretrial in the matter. Ms. Wilson, how we proceed?
Thank you, Your Honor. It's my understanding that this is going to be a no contest plea to count one. The basis of the no contest plea is civil liability. There's a Killebrew to no upfront jail. On probation, there needs to be some kind of anger management or some kind of substance abuse treatment, depending on the PSI report, what probation feels is appropriate. And then restitution is going to be left open until sentencing. One of the victims is here in the courtroom and she is working on getting an appraisal for the restitution and will have that provided by sentencing.
All right, so let me restate that for the record. So, and then I got so I have a no contest plea to count one. Purposes would be civil liability for the no contest plea. Counts 2 and 3 are be dismissed upon successful sentence. There's an agreement of Killebrew, no jail time, and then probation is whatever the PSI would indicate.
Yep.
Is that a fair statement, Ms. Schroeder?
Yes, it is, Your Honor. I mean, I think I heard you talk about restitution. That would be.
Oh, I did.
That, yeah, by sentencing date.
Yeah. So restitution is to be determined by sentencing date.
Thank you. That is correct, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Mays, is that your understanding of the plea agreement? It is a no contest plea to count 1, which is assault and battery. Counts 2 and 3 are to be dismissed. There's a Killebrew agreement of no jail up front. Probation, the request is to follow whatever probation comes up and regarding programming, and restitution is to be determined by the sentencing date. Is that your understanding, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you have certain rights in this misdemeanor case, and I'll walk you through those rights. You understand you have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty, to have the prosecutor prove beyond reasonable doubt that you are guilty, to have witnesses against you appear at trial, to question any witnesses that are brought against you. You are represented by attorney Erin Schroeder today, and she would be present to cross-examine any witnesses or contest any charges brought by the people of the state of Michigan against you. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
You have the right to have the court order any witnesses appear in your defense, to remain silent during the trial, not to have that silence against you, and to testify at trial if you choose to testify. If this no contest plea is accepted, you'll give up the claim that the no contest plea was a result of any promises other than what's been stated on the record or threats that it was not your choice to plead guilty. You're also giving up the right to appeal anything from trial. Since you won't be having a trial today, you'll be pleading no contest instead. Is that my understanding, Ms. Mays? You intend to waive your rights and plead no contest to the allegation. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. I am in possession of a Lansing Police Department police report. It looks like dated. It was dated on today's date. It's page 204 of today's date. Oh no, it's printed February 18th, 2024. Is that and there's a highlight portion of that. Is that what you want to be used in regards to the factual basis? And then you can stipulate as to time and date, Ms. Wilson.
Sorry, should you say that it's dated today?
It's printed. I only have the printing date on it.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah, it's printed on February 18th, 2024.
Gotcha, yes, that is the date, yeah.
And that was provided by defense counsel.
Correct.
Is that what I'm going to use for the no contest?
It is, Your Honor, yes.
Ms. Wilson.
Ms. Schroeder,
Ms. Schroeder.
Your Honor, I think there's actually, the complaint is also
Yes, you've
there,
given
and
me the
that,
complaint.
I think has the date and
Right.
state, and yes, that, because, yes, that is what is to be used.
All
for the
right, so
actual-
pursuant to stipulation by counsel, this is for conduct on February 18th, 2024 at the offense location of 2220 Newark Avenue, City of Lansing, Hingham County. Is that correct, Ms. Wilson?
It is, Your Honor.
Ms. Schroeder?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And then I will indicate that for the record that the victim in the case is a Kimberly Burnett. There was a conversation. Ms. Mays became agitated concerning the conversation. There were some accusations made concerning children. It appears that the defendant, Ashley Mays, attempted to push past her, which would be the offensive touching or the attempted offensive touching, and then struck her. All right. So I find that on the date and time pursuant to the factual basis of no contest plea, that Ashley Marie Mays did offensively touch in an assaultive format Kimberly Burnett on the stated date and time. Any questions concerning the factual basis, Ms. Wilson?
Not from the people.
Ms. Schroeder?
Not for the defense.
All right. So I find a factual basis for count one to exist. Counts 2 and 3 will be dismissed on appropriate sentencing. Restitution will be made at the sentence date, and we will set. So, Ms. Mays, you need to go to probation within the next 48 hours, and they're going to ask you a lot of questions, and they're going to develop a report for me. And at sentencing, we'll see what options are available to us. We'll also see the restitution for any options on that date. All right, ma'am?
Okay.
So you should get with the probation department by Wednesday at 5, so they can prepare a report. If you don't, they'll indicate you failed to appear, and then we'll just have a bench warrant issued. So you want to avoid that. All right, ma'am?
Okay.
All right. We'll set the sentencing date for
May 20th at 1:30.
May 20th at 1:30. And then we'll determine restitution as along with the pretrial, along with the pretrial report that's done by probation. Anything else for the record in 24-00422, Ms. Wilson?
Not from the people.
Ms. Schroeder?
Not for the defense, thank you.
All right, Ms. Mays, make sure you contact probation within the next 48 hours by Wednesday at 4, and we will see you on that May 20th date. All right, ma'am?
Okay, do I need to be there in person on that date?
I think you can call them, but I'm sure the actual pre-sentence investigation will be, you have to be live for the sentencing, and I think you're gonna have to appear for the probation department.
Okay,
All right?
thank you.
All right, that's all for the record in 24-00422. Thank you for your appearance, everybody. Ms. Schroeder, I'll give you back the no contest.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. So are you ready to go, Ms. Wilson?
Parnell.
Your Parnell. Right, so we're on the record in docket 24-00746. That is people of the state of Michigan versus Larry Parnell. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Ms. Wilson.
Abigail Wilson to the people.
Ms. Sutter.
Good morning, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender Lauren Sutter on behalf of Mr. Parnell, who's standing to my right.
And sir, you are Larry Parnell, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. This is the time set for a pretrial in the matter. Ms. Wilson, how are we proceeding?
Thank you, Your Honor. I believe this is going to be left set for final pretrial and corresponding jury trial.
All right.
That's correct, Your Honor.
So the pretrial, the final pretrial date, which will be exactly like we are here, will be set for
April 8th at 8:30. April 8th at 8:30.
April 8th at 8:30. And then the corresponding jury trial date,
April 22nd at 8.
April 22nd. So Mr. Parnell, please keep in contact with your attorney, Ms. Sutter. We've set it for final pretrial on April 8th at 8:30, just like today. And then jury trial for April 22nd at 8 o'clock. Anything else for the record in 24-00746? Ms. Wilson.
Not from people.
Ms. Sutter.
Nothing further.
All right, Mr. Parnell, we'll see you on that April 8th date, okay? April 8th, and you should get notice from my court officer.
Will someone let us vote?
So we're on the record in docket 23-02141. That is people of the state of Michigan versus Dominga Nesson. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Ms. Wilson.
Abigail Wilson to the people.
Ms. Sutter.
Good morning, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender Lauren Sutter on behalf of Ms. Nesson, who's joining us via Polycom.
And ma'am, you are Dominga Nesson, is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right, and you can hear me all right, Ms. Nesson?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can, thank you. This is the time set for a pretrial in the matter. Ms. Wilson, how are we proceeding?
Thank you, Your Honor. I believe we're going to leave this for a final pre-trial and corresponding jury trial.
And that's a fair statement, Ms. Sutter.
It is, Your Honor, my understanding is that Ms. Wilson was waiting on someone or something to respond to her.
All
That is
right.
correct.
So we'll set final pretrial for
April 8th at 8:30.
April 8th at 8:30. And jury trial,
April 22nd at 8.
April 22nd at 8 o'clock. All right, so Ms. Nesson, please keep in contact with your attorney, Ms. Sutter. We've set it for final pretrial on April 8th at 8:30. Is that address still good for you?
Your Honor, I have a new address.
Updated, okay. So we'll get the updated address from your attorney. That'll be a live in person, April 8th at 8:30. All right, ma'am?
Okay, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Sutter, my understanding is you wanted to make a bond motion?
That's correct, Your Honor. Ms. Nesson has been in custody for quite some time now. I do understand the current bond is set because there was a previous failure to appear. However, she does now have a stable address in the city of Lansing. She does have plans to resolve all of her cases here today and with the city tomorrow. So I would make a request for her to be released on a PR bond, perhaps with a GPS tether. Thank you.
All right. Do we still have a fingerprint order on here? I have a fingerprint order in the file.
She was fingerprinted.
She was printed, good. All right. All right, I will grant the motion for PR. With a GPS tether. And that would be a zone notification, I would assume.
I believe this is an OWI, so I don't. think
So it's just a monitor.
Just a monitor, yeah.
All right, so I'm granting the motion for PR bond. This will be PR bonded at PR bond $2,500. I'm also indicating that Ms. Nesson should be put on a GPS tether, which is a monitoring system for any future before she's released for her PR bond. And then the April 8th date is in person. All right, Ms. Nesson?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Anything else for the record in 23-02141, Ms. Wilson?
Not from the people.
Ms. Sutter?
Nothing further.
All right, Ms. Nesson, you're all set. We'll see you again on April 8th. All right, ma'am?
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, let's update the. Yeah.
To get restitution.
Mr. Benson, can you rejoin the breakout room just very briefly?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
His is gonna just be.
All right, Mr. Magoon, you're going to meet with your public defender here. You should get a prompt to go to a breakout room, and we'll put you in a room with Ms. Schroeder. All right, sir?
Thank you.
And then after Ms. Schroeder gets done with Mr. Magoon, Mr. Galvin, you'll be placed in a breakout room after that, okay?
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
So Ms. Spade, you are in the right courtroom. Are you represented by counsel today? You'll have to unmute.
Yes, I believe so.
All right. All right, stand by and we'll talk to the public defender once they get out of the breakout room. All right, ma'am?
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Spade, you can unmute.
Can you hear me?
All right, so we're on the record in docket 23-03634. It's people of the state of Michigan versus Cynthia Spade. Ms. Wilson, your appearance for the record.
Abigail Wilson for the people.
And ma'am, you are Cynthia Spade, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, this is the time set for a pretrial in the matter. Ms. Spade, I have you declining court-appointed attorney at arraignment on December 22nd. And then we've had several adjournments since then. We adjourned on January 29th. We adjourned on March 4th for compliance purposes. So Ms. Spade, at this point in time, you don't have counsel and you've not applied for counsel from the public defender's office. Did you just want to set this for trial?
Yeah.
All right. So let's set this for final pretrial. That Ms. Spade, that final pretrial will be live. All right, ma'am?
Okay, okay.
Okay. So we'll set for final pretrial,
I'm sorry, April 8th at 8:30.
April 8th at 8:30. That'll be live, so Zoom will be inappropriate, Ms. Spade. And then the corresponding jury trial will be set for
April 22nd at 8.
April 22nd at 8.
Okay.
So you should be here on April 8th at 8:30 on the 6th floor of City Hall in order to address this matter. All right, ma'am?
Okay.
All right. Anything else for the record in 23-03634? Ms. Wilson?
No.
All right. I'll see you on that April 8th date. You're all set, Ms. Spade.
All right, thank you.
All right, Mr. Benson, we'll call your case next. We got 2 pre-trials today. So we're on the record in docket 23-03340 and 23-03341. That is people of the state of Michigan versus Darby on Benson. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record, Ms. Wilson?
Abigail Wilson for the people.
Ms. Sutter.
Good morning, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender Lauren Sutter, on behalf of Mr. Benson, who's joining us via Zoom.
And sir, you are Darby on Benson, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you can hear me all right, Mr. Benson?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. This is the time set for a pre-trial in the matter. Ms. Wilson, how are we proceeding?
Thank you, Your Honor. It's my understanding, or I've received a license for one of the dogs in the town.
What happened?
Think they're having some technical difficulties, folks. Just hang on.
Okay, I was kind of lost for a second.
Pressing all the breakout
Oh,
rooms.
okay.
All right. All right, so Ms. Wilson, we're back on the record in 341 and 340. How are we proceeding?
Thank you, Your Honor. I have received a license for one of the dogs, that would be Gambino. It's my understanding that Mr. Benson has relinquished the other dog, Sky, and I believe he is prepared to make that statement to the court under oath here today in order to dismiss that file.
All right, and so which file is that? So there is Gambino and Sky, and you received paperwork on Gambino. And then, Mr. Benson, you're prepared today to say on the record through your attorney, Ms. Sutter, that you are no longer in possession of the Sky, which is the Shepherd mix female, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. With the understanding that you've received information on Gambino, the gray white pit bull, are you prepared based on the representations made to dismiss the ticket, Ms. Wilson?
I am, Your Honor.
All right. All right, both of these tickets are dismissed without prejudice for compliance purposes. Anything else for the record in 23-03340 or 41, Ms. Wilson?
Not from the people.
Ms. Sutter?
Nothing further.
All right, Mr. Benson, you're all set. These have both been dismissed without prejudice, which means the people could reissue if they choose to, but realistically, for our purposes today, the cases are dismissed. All right, sir?
All right,
All right, you're all set. Thank you for your appearance, Mr. Benson.
thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't have one. She's got another one that's still waiting to be sworn to, it looks like. So I was gonna see, it's another different. That's 2 counts. So I was gonna see who it's assigned to and do a package. Yeah. Okay.
Schroeder's leaving.
I don't know, I was gonna.
Calvin?
Yeah. Okay, see. Yeah, works for me, yeah.
I'm ready to that.
Okay, works, yeah.
Your Honor, we're ready with Miss Hill, if that's okay.
All right.
This is Ms. Schroeder's client, but I'm gonna be handling it since Ms. Schroeder's a little underwater right now.
Right. Yep, she's in her second meeting.
Yes.
All right, so we're on the record in docket 24-00524. That says People of the State of Michigan versus Alyssa Hill. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Ms. Wilson.
Abigail Wilson for the people.
Ms. Sutter.
Good morning, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender standing in for Assistant Public Defender Aaron Schroeder on behalf of Ms. Hill, who's standing to my right.
And ma'am, you are Alyssa Hill, is that correct?
Yes.
All right, thank you. This is the time set for a pretrial in the matter. Ms. Wilson, how we proceed?
Thank you, Your Honor. There may be a package coming up. There is another complaint out there that I believe has yet to be sworn to. So I believe we're gonna be requesting maybe 2 or 3 weeks in adjournment to try to get that worked out.
Adjourn for global resolution.
I have no objection to that request, Your Honor.
You think about 2 to 3 weeks?
Yeah.
So we'll adjourn this pretrial for global resolution. There's another file out there. And we'll reset it for, let's go 3 weeks. April 15th at 9 a.m. We'll reset this pretrial for April 15th at 9 a.m. You should get notice from my court officer right now. Anything else for the record in 24-00524? Ms. Wilson.
Not from the people.
Ms. Sutter.
Nothing further.
All right, Ms. Hill, we'll see you on that April 15th date. Thank you for your appearance today.
Thank you.
Mr. Krieg this afternoon.
Mhm.
He's been incarcerated, has he not?
Yep.
Yeah. So we can bring back Galvin.
Yes, and we are good. I just confirmed with him. He's like, yep, that was the one. Okay.
That file had put it in his file.
That made things a lot easier.
Well, that note was like 2 APAs ago too, so.
That's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, and it's all part of that. Okay. Yep, no, he just needs a payment plan when the time comes.
Yeah.
All right, so do you want to call Mr. Magoon first or Mr. Galvin?
Let's do Magoon first, because his should be relatively quick, Your Honor.
All right.
That's all right.
All right, Mr. Magoon, we'll call your case on the record in docket 24-00159. That is People of the State of Michigan versus Christopher Magoon. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Ms. Wilson.
Abigail Wilson for the people.
Ms. Schroeder.
And Assistant Public Defender Aaron Schroeder on behalf of Mr. Magoon. I appear here in the courtroom. Mr. Magoon is present by Zoom.
Thank you. And sir, you are Christopher Magoon, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and you can hear me all right, Mr. Magoon?
Yes, Your Honor, I can hear you.
All right, thank you. This is the time set for a pretrial in the matter. Ms. Wilson, how are we proceeding?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is gonna be set for a final trial.
That is correct.
We'll set for final pretrial and corresponding jury trial. Final pretrial set for
April 8th at 8:30.
April 8:30. And jury trial set for
April 22nd.
April 22nd at 8. All right, so Mr. Magoon, please keep in contact with your attorney, Aaron Schroeder. Your final pretrial will be live in person on April 8th at 8:30. Jury trial is set for April 22nd at 8 o'clock. And the address on Reed Street in Ashley, that's still a good address for you?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
Do
All right. Anything else for the record?
Do I
Go ahead,
appear
Mr.
at City
Magoon.
Hall? Do I appear at the City Hall court?
Yeah, on the 6th floor of City Hall for the final pretrial.
Okay, thank you.
So once you get off the main elevator, go to your right, and my courtroom will be all the way down to your right. All right. Anything else for the record in 24-00159? Ms. Wilson,
Nothing, people.
Ms. Schroeder.
None in the defense. Thank
All
you.
right. You're all set, Mr. Magoon. Thank you for your appearance today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And Mr. Galvin. All right, so we're on the record in both dockets 23-00436 and 23-00536. People of the State of Michigan versus Michael Galvin. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Ms. Wilson.
Abigail Wilson for the people.
Ms. Schroeder.
And Assistant Public Defender Aaron Schroeder on behalf of Mr. Galvin. I am here in the courtroom. Mr. Galvin joins us via Zoom from the Ingham County Jail.
Thank you. And sir, you are Michael Galvin, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and you can hear me all right, Mr. Galvin?
Yeah, I hear you just fine.
All right, thank you. This is the time set for a pretrial on both these matters. Ms. Wilson, how are we proceeding?
Thank you, Your Honor. It's my understanding that this is going to be a plea to malicious destruction of a building on file 23536. And then 23436 would be dismissed. And then there's an agreement to a total of $1,810.86 in restitution. $1,447.10 would be to CMH.
All right, hold on just a second.
Yep.
So plea discharged on file 23-00536.
Yes.
And the 23-00436 is to be dismissed as part of the plea agreement.
Correct.
And then there's a stipulation to restitution.
Yes, and I'm working on getting the pink sheets filled out.
All right. And that would be on 23-00536.
Correct.
And then you can provide those numbers when you're ready.
That's gonna be $1,447.10 to CMH. And $363.76 to Sparrow.
Ms. Schroeder, is that your understanding? It is a plea as charged to 23-00536, a dismissal per the plea agreement of 23-00436, and a restitution to CMH of $1,447.10. restitution to Sparrow Hospital of $363.76.
That is correct, Your Honor.
So that would put the total at the combination of both of those. Is that correct?
Correct.
I have a total of $1,810.86.
Correct.
Okay, Mr. Galvin, is that your understanding of the plea agreement? It's actually pretty straightforward. Plead to one file, dismiss the other file. Pleading 23-00536, dismiss file 23-00436, and restitution has been stipulated to at $1,810.86. Is that your understanding, sir?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
All right. You have certain rights in this misdemeanor plea, and I'll walk you through those rights. You have the right to be tried by a jury, to be presumed innocent until proven guilty, to have the prosecutor prove beyond reasonable doubt that you are guilty, have the witnesses against you appear at trial, to question any witnesses brought against you. You are represented by attorney Erin Schroeder today, and she would be present to cross-examine any witnesses or contest any charges brought against you by the people of the state of Michigan. You have the right to have the court order any witnesses appear in your defense to remain silent during the trial, not to have that silence used against you, and to testify at trial if you choose to testify. If your plea is accepted, you'll give up the claim the plea was a result of any promises other than the stated plea agreement, what we've stated on the record, or threats that it was not your choice to plead guilty. You'd also be giving up the right to appeal any issues that may otherwise be available to you on appeal because you won't be having a trial. You'll be pleading guilty instead. Is it still your intent to plead guilty to this file of 23-00536, Mr. Galvin?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you have to raise your right hand as best you can. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. I'm going to bring your attention back to find the bring your attention back to December 28th, 2022 at the offense location of 812 East Jolly Road in the city of Lansing. Were you at 812 East Jolly Road in the city of Lansing on December 28th, 2022?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And at that time, did you purposely destroy or injure a building or in its appurtenances at that location of more than $200 but less than $1,000?
Yes, Your Honor. Sorry.
Okay. And that building belonged to Community Mental Health. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, it did.
All right. Anything towards a factual basis, Ms. Wilson?
Nothing.
Ms. Schroeder?
Your Honor, what date of offense do you have?
I have December 20 on that 536 file. I have December 28th, 2022.
Yes, Your Honor, then, okay, thank you.
All right.
Sorry, my files are.
Well, there's two of the almost exactly the same file. All right. So with that understanding that I find the factual basis to be knowing voluntarily and accurately made on file 23-00536, 23-00436 will be dismissed pursuant to sentencing at the 536 file. I'm going to refer to probation. So Mr. Galvin, probation should come down to see you and you should answer any questions they have. They'll develop a report for me, and then at sentencing, we'll see what options are available to us. All right?
Okay.
Okay.
Your Honor, may I make just a comment regarding that?
Yes.
So it's my understanding that Mr. Galvin will probably be staying in the Ingham County Jail right now, at least for the time being, on a felony file that just got pled, there we go, last week. It looks like there's a release for treatment potentially, so I don't know on that file, because he isn't scheduled till May 28th. So
all right.
Either going to be a treatment or ICJ, so that probation is aware.
All right, and so I'm going to refer to probation, but I'll indicate for the file that he's looking at treatment on another file.
Yeah.
So they know to go see him as soon as they can.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
So I have a question.
Yes, Mr. Galvin.
Well, will this get in the way of me going to treatment on time?
It shouldn't. What we're trying to set up is that they'll see you before you go.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you, Your Honor.
And then sentencing date of
May 20th.
May 20th at 1:30. And then at that time, if Mr. Galvin is in a treatment facility, he can attend by Zoom.
Very good, Your Honor, thank you.
What time is that again, Andy?
At 1:30.
Then Your Honor, I have the pink sheets done if you want them.
Sure, and then I'll place both pink sheets in the file. Thank you, Ms. Wilson. All right, so probation should be down to see you. The sentencing is set for May 20th at 1:30. If you're in treatment, you can attend by Zoom. And we'll see what options are available on that May 20th date. Anything else for the record, 23-00536, Ms. Wilson?
Not from the defense.
Ms. Schroeder?
Not the defense.
All right, Mr. Galvin, we'll see you on that May 20th date. Good luck to you, okay, sir?
Thank you. Have a good day, guys.
You too.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Posadas, we'll call your case. It's Mr. Posadas Zavala. All right. So you'll have to turn the music off and back, Mr. Posadas. All right, so we're on the record in docket 24-0059. That is People of the State of Michigan versus Hector Posadas Zavala. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Ms. Wilson.
Abigail Wilson from People.
Ms. Sutter.
Good morning, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender Lauren Sutter on behalf of Mr. Posada Zavala, who is joining us via Zoom.
And sir, you are Hector Posadas Zavala, is that correct?
Yeah.
And you can hear me all right, Mr. Posadas Zavala?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. This is the time set for a pretrial in the matter. Ms. Wilson, how are we proceeding?
Thank you, Your Honor. I believe this is going to be set for final pretrial and first public jury trial.
Okay. And that's a fair statement, Ms. Sutter?
It is.
We'll set for final pretrial on April 8th at 8:30. So that'll be a live final pretrial on April 8th at 8:30. And a jury trial is set for April 22nd at 8 o'clock. So Mr. Posada Zavala, please keep in contact with your attorney, Ms. Sutter. Your final pretrial will be live on the 6th floor of City Hall in Lansing on April 8th at 8:30. So that will be live. Zoom is inappropriate. Anything else for the record in docket 24-00759, Ms. Wilson?
Not from People.
Ms. Sutter?
I have nothing further. Thank you.
Mr. Posadas, do you have any questions of me?
No.
Okay, you're all set. We'll see you on April 8th.
All right.
Good, Nancy. I can hold that session like that. You would see, oh, yeah, you can go back. Yes.
Let the court know, and I've spoken to her previously.
All right. All right, so we're on the record in docket 24-00756. That is people of the state of Michigan versus Kadena Jackson. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Ms. Wilson.
Abigail Wilson for the people.
Ms. Sutter. Oh, Ms. Schroeder.
Thank you, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender Aaron Schroeder on behalf of Ms. Jackson, who is present from the Ingham County Jail and appears on by Zoom.
And ma'am, you are Kadena Jackson, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, I am.
Okay, and you can hear me all right, Ms. Jackson?
Yes, I can, sir.
All right, thank you. This is the time set for a pretrial in the matter. Ms. Wilson, how are we proceeding?
Thank you, Your Honor. I believe this is going to be set for final pretrial and corresponding pretrial.
All right, that's a fair statement, Ms. Schroeder.
It is, Your Honor, and just so the court is aware, she does have a pending matter up in circuit. That is what is holding her in currently. And she's scheduled, it looks like for March 27th for arraignment on that.
Okay,
So I don't know where she's going to be at the time.
all right. So the final pretrial is set for April 8th at 8:30. That'll be a live pretrial unless you're still incarcerated, then they'll put you on Polycom like they have here. And then the jury trial is set for
April 22nd.
April 22nd at 8 a.m. And you have both of those dates, Ms. Wilson.
Yes.
All right. Ms. Jackson, please keep in contact with your attorney, Ms. Schroeder. I'll see you here on April 8th at 8:30. All right, ma'am?
Okay, what am I supposed to do from here?
But you're probably on another file because you're not on this file. You're probably being incarcerated on another file. So if you're still incarcerated, we'll have the final pretrial just like we're having it here, okay?
Okay, and then you said something about court on the 27th?
Yeah, may I, Your Honor?
Yes, you may.
Yes, Mrs. Jackson, you have court in the circuit court with Judge Dragonchuck on the 27th for arraignment for that matter that is actually holding you in, okay? And at that time, there may be a bond made for you, bond motion.
April 20th or March 27th, you said?
Yes, hopefully on that date, there'll be a bond motion regarding that file made. And we'll see where we're at after that, okay?
Okay, and what time was that arraignment?
That arraignment is set for 11 a.m. with Judge Dragonchuck, according to our file.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Ms. Jackson. Anything else on 24-00756, Ms. Wilson?
Not from the people.
Ms. Schroeder?
Not for the defense.
All right, Ms. Jackson, we'll see you on that April 8th date. Good luck to you.
Thank you. I am.
Okay, good. Just a second.
Excuse me, the court, is my mother present? She is with my child? Can someone inform
Can
her?
hear you now.
Yes, we can,
Okay.
they're here in the courtroom. And your baby
Okay,
is here with your
okay.
sister. Okay?
Okay. I have a supply of breast milk that is here that is frozen. Because right now we've had to alternate breastfeeding and
Can
milk.
we take a live stream off for this conversation?